Hello, EKN Nation, and welcome to another edition of the EKN Hot Seat. I am David Cole, EKN Managing Editor, and today with me I have Adrien Renaudin, the driver for Velocity Racing and Sodikart, a employee as well as Sodikart. We'll get into that a little bit later, but Adrien, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
So first off, what are your thoughts so far on the 2026 season? You come in as the EKN Driver Rankings #1 driver, last year's driver of the year after your first season in the United States. How do you think the 2026 season has started off so far?
Yeah, it's starting really well. This year we're competing 3 championship different, and on the 3 race we make 3 podium, 1 first place, 1 second place, and 1 third place. So at least I already make all the steps on the podium. So I will not have one that I miss at the end of the year, but all works perfectly. The chassis is the same as last year, so with just a little improvement and new parts that make even the setup even better. So yeah, for the moment we are really happy about our pace.
So for a lot of the USA drivers and in North America, you're kind of new to the scene. Kind of tell us where and when you began karting.
I began karting now 20 years ago, because now I'm 27. Okay. And I make all my racing career in Europe until the last year when I drove in the US. So was not the same categories as now, but I make all the category possible in France only at the beginning with the mini and the junior and the was the Rotax in France, but it's like the X30 at the same level but in France. And I win every national race I made in France, and I begin to make Euro Rotax challenge with some good race sometime. The level was a bit higher, so it was not easy every time. And I passed all my career with Sodikart in France. So I drive 14 years with Sodi. Mm-hmm. So at 17 years old, so I'm in my 10 years, I was the European champion in KZ2 with Sodi and CPB Sport. Then I went factory driver with Sodi for 2 years, where I get the pole position in the World Championship, and I finish on the podium on the track, but then get some penalty for a bumper. Okay. And then I went to Sodikart for a new chapter in my career. I wanted to know something else because racing for me is a short period, especially in the karting. So I really wanted to know something different from another country, because I'm French, so this is French, and I wanted to discover something. So it was really good things to know other things, and the performance was not so great. Then I moved to Danilo Rossi, another factory with a way little, but with a really good spirit and really good materials. And I was in charge to develop all the chassis and the engine, because they are using the Modena engine. Mm-hmm. So we struggle a bit because the factory is little, but we show some good pace, especially the last World Championship I make. We were starting P6 in the final with a good performance. And then I have the choice to continue in Europe, but I didn't know in which condition, which factory, and I wanted to get back on the top. And I was also at a point I have to drive, and also to get some kind of insurance for the rest of my life. You know, you cannot be only racing until 50 years old. So I spoke to Sodi, and the opportunity with Velocity happened. I took it because I like to discover new things, and I think the US is a really growing market in the racing, and I wanted to be part of it.
So when you first started in the mini category, was Sodikart your first kart, or was it a different brand?
Yeah, it was a Sodikart.
Yeah, and then the mini back then, was that Rotax, or was that IAME, or was it different?
It was the Honda.
Oh, okay, Honda, yeah.
The same as the rental kart. spring to start, and then the regulation changed, and we passed to the mini Rotax.
So when you first started karting and you were making your way up the different ranks, who were some of the karting heroes that you kind of looked up to when you were coming up the ranks, or even some of your motorsport heroes when you first started racing?
To be honest, when I was little, I was making a lot of different sports, including soccer, including swimming, a lot of things, but I never had something where I was a big fan.
Okay.
But then when I grew up, from the racing hero, I would say it's Hamilton for me, because of I think I don't have to explain his career. Is just maybe, if not the best, for me, is the best. But I mean, the way he drives and the respect he had, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. So you talked about the progression. You went from mini to junior. Looking back at your resume, you did a lot of Rotax racing. 2014, 2016, 2017, you were the French champion in Rotax competition. What did you like about the Rotax platform? It seemed to be the Rotax was very popular in France back then.
Yeah, because after it was the period of the Rotax, because it's about also the federation and all the choice they made.
Yeah.
I compete in X13 Rotax, and for my side, I prefer the Rotax. First, because it's less expensive, and that make a bigger race because there is more people who can come.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel that the races are really better, because the slipstream for me is more important in Rotax. So you get, when it's a good track, the racing is quite good. And I really like to drive single speed in general. I have to pass to the shifter because was the next step for me, but I still really like to drive a single speed.
So you did go to the Rotax Grand Finals, 2016. You were sixth there. Talk about kind of your experience going to that event, because for me, I've been there 3 or 4 times, and it just feels, I've never been to like the KZ World Championships or the actual World Championships, the single speed stuff, but the Rotax Grand Finals just has that different atmosphere there. Would you agree? Yeah. Like it's completely different from anything else.
The Grand Final, there is no event like this. Is one of the events I appreciate the most, because first is like the World Cup in football. You know, every French people, every people are in the same country as the same team, and I think it's the same in all the country. But in France, there is a lot of competition between teams. Some people don't like each other, but when you are there, you don't have the choice. You are
right
next to the guy you beat in the championship. He's second, you first. Maybe you don't like each other, but you are close enough to speak and that make everything more peaceful. And then you have a great week. Yeah. And the fact that everybody has the same chassis, it's so unique that you can't feel it's real.
Yeah, the UK could probably use some of that togetherness I'm watching the last few years, right?
They are making UK, it's not a general, but some drivers are making the Grand Final Rotax looks like rental cart, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, quite interesting.
It's not good for our sports, but it's all the private organization will look a bit like this now.
Yeah.
It's not only Rotax, Yamaha is the same. Feel like only in FIA is a bit better.
So I noticed you did do some car racing, did some F4 France. Did you jump into shifter karts before that, or did you go right from the single speed stuff into car racing?
No, I went before driving the shifter because I get invited by the federation to drive in the Formula 4 just to make the last race of the season. It was really great experience, even if my pace was not so great, because it was the last race of the championship. So everybody was 100% and me maybe like 10%, but I enjoyed it a lot. But sure, if I have to do it again, I will drive shifter before, just to understand more about the shifting, about what that can get to you compared to the single speed.
So you came back to karting, and then in 2018, as you already said, you won the European Championship. What was kind of the key components to that season? Was it just everything kind of went together the right way? To kind of talk about how you were able to go on to win that title that year.
This year was 2 rounds, one in France in Salbris and one in Italy in Lonato. The tire were really complicated this year because we was driving the LeConte, but the old one, I remember to make the qualifying in 57 seconds and then the last hit in 1 minute. So the tire degradation was horrible.
Yeah.
And I think this was the main point that we get some advantage compared to the other, and that helped me to win everything in the first race. So I have a good position for Lonato, where we were not so quick, but I still managed to stay always in the front, always in the point, and that was enough to be a European champion.
We pause this show for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodikart. And in the US, Velocity Racing is their distributor and official race team. The Sodikart brand is among the top chassis around the globe and here in North America. And the recent successes include the FIA Karting World Championships in KZ last year and in multiple championships and at different levels here in the USA. The French manufacturer is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Velocity Racing also works with its expanded dealer network, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Visit velocityracing.com to learn more about the Sodikart chassis and the racing program, or call 407-270-3042 to become part of the Velocity Racing network today. Velocity Racing and Sodikart, leaders in the karting industry. "2026 is shaping up to be another historic season for Superkarts USA. Things kick off with the SKUSA Winter Series heading to the Lone Star State and the popular Speed Sports Racing Park. The opening event is slated for January 9th to the 11th, with the series finale set for the February 13th to 15th weekend at the New Caney, Texas facility. This year's SKUSA Pro Tour is primed to visit 3 different states from March to July. The 2026 SKUSA Pro Tour WinterNationals will be held on March 27th to 29th at a location to be announced in the near future. The Spring Nationals is returning to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Batavia, Ohio over the June 12th to 14th weekend. And lastly, to cap off the series for the 12th time, Newcastle Motorsports Park hosts the SKUSA Summer Nationals in late July. This year's SKUSA Pro Tour champions will be crowned over the July 24th to 26th weekend in Newcastle, Indiana. Regional action is set for 2026 with the flagship Pro Kart Challenge program hosting 5 race weekends at 3 spectacular facilities, including the new K1 circuit in Winchester and Spring Mountain Karting in Nevada, in a schedule highlighted by return to Sonoma Raceway. The Texas Sprint Racing Series is offering 5 rounds of racing in 2026, visiting 4 challenging circuits from March to September. Growth continues for Superkarts USA in Mexico as well, with record numbers for the SKUSA Pro Tour Mexico and the Pro Kart Challenge Mexico Series. For information on all of this and more, visit superkartsusa.com. Since 2013, Team Benek has been one of the leading driver development race teams and kart chassis brands in North America. Numerous victories and championships at all levels of the sport have been earned by drivers racing under Team Benek. Benek Kart, manufactured in Italy, utilizes modern technology and materials to deliver the best product for the racetrack. The Benek Breton 950mm chassis is the flagship model, aimed at cadet-level karting. No matter the power plant, the Benek Breton takes drivers to the top of the podium. Introduced this season is the new full-size chassis, the Benek Torpedo. The frame is designed for single-speed competition for junior, senior, and masters level drivers in 100cc and 125cc categories. Coming later this year will be the new Shifterkart model for the North American market. Not only is the Benek Kart found at dealers across the USA, but around the world with distributors in Asia, Mexico, and South America. The Florida-based Team Benek can be found at all major karting championships across the United States, including the Florida Winter Tour, Superkarts USA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, and many more events including Rock Vegas and the Superkarts USA SuperNationals. Find out more about the Bennett Kart and Team Bennett at bennett-kart.com. Thank you for listening to the EKN Radio Network. We now join the show already in progress.
So as you said, you moved from Sodikart, you went and ventured out to OTK and ran for Tony Kart Factory. Can you give us like maybe a couple points on the differences between Sodikart and Tony Kart? Or do you feel it's very similar? They're both very focused on providing the best product and performing the best out there.
It's to both want to win the race. And, when you are in a factory, you can feel that there is one point when they have to sell chassis and is the main business for the factory. But when you go to the racing side, you feel like the boss don't have the same mentality and just want to win the race this week.
Yeah.
So it's not like, we have to make everything like, how you say? I mean, they really want to push forward. They are making a lot of money to it. They know that the result can help the selling of chassis. So everybody is pushing a lot, and you feel it that there is no commercial anymore. It's just racing. So this, I really like it. And the difference between Sodi and Tony was more than when I went to Tony Kart was Tony is still the number one now to sell chassis in the world. So everything was a bit bigger. But then if I have to go now racing with Sodi is getting way in the way of Tony Kart and getting the same power.
So you worked with Rossi as well, as you said. Describe kind of we've seen him here in the U.S. a lot over the last basically 15 years or 20 years even. He's worked with a lot of people over here as well too. Kind of describe working and racing with Danilo.
He's a really great person. Before going to Danilo, I spoke to some friends that I have in the karting. They all told me that he's a really great guy. Me, I didn't know him before, and the relationship was really, really good. He know really well the chassis, as he's a lot of time world champion. So for sure, he has an experience that I will never have. I think not a lot of people will have.
Right.
Yeah, that's make me a better person to about all the racing side, to know some setup, some little thing that I didn't know before. And I passed 2 years, I was really happy all the 2 years, even if the performance was not so great sometimes.
Do you feel like being in that little, obviously a smaller team and smaller factory, do you feel like that the performance you were able to do you feel like that put a little bit more confidence in your driving abilities?
I would not say this. For me, the main difference was like it's more little, it's more like a family, So
right.
The result impact a bit more when it's good or not. When you drive for a big factory, we can say the biggest now in Tony Kart, and you have 4 or 5 factory driver. If you make a bad race, nobody is happy, but we still carry on, and there is other driver, there is other things we continue. When it's more little, it's more about we need to make everything perfect to show that we are not little in the performance. So I will say less pressure, but more intensity.
More intensity. Yeah, exactly. Describe kind of from 2020 to 2024. What were you you were still racing in karts. What was kind of your focus during those 4 years before you came here to the US?
I was not thinking about going in cars because I know that I didn't have the money to make it. And I was not in discussion with team who wants to invest in me for the cars. So I was focused on the karting side, and I tried to develop my business next to it, and I make some coaching and some management. And I was honestly happy for this to travel, to discover it, still continue racing because I was really loving it. And Yeah, I knew that was this period will not take 10 years, so I wanted to just enjoy these 4 years as I can.
Yeah. So you made your USA debut last year at the SuperKarts USA Winter Nationals in Texas. What led you coming to the USA and racing for Velocity Racing?
I was in discussion with Sodi to drive in the Europe, but from both sides we decided that was not a good moment to make it, and Sodi in the US there were a possibility to make the market growing, and we wanted to put a name from Europe to help the team and to try to make some result as I was still performing well in Europe. So the option came to me, and I was really happy to make something new because in Europe is always the same track, always the same people, and I was a bit bored of that, and to discover a really new country that is really different. It's not like you drive in Spain or in Italy, or it's quite same things at the end. From the US, it's completely different. So I was really happy to make it, and it was the good option at the right time for me.
What before you came here, what was kind of your opinion and thoughts on karting in the US? Were you really following it a lot, or were you kind of monitoring it a little bit, or did you have a drive to come here because you had never driven here before?
Yeah, before driving there, I never been to the US in my life. I watch it a bit from all the social media things because I think it's really better than in Europe, and was how do you say, like a show compared to
Yeah.
Europe. It was more funny, and I was always watching even if I don't know nobody. And it's strange to watch the sport when you don't know the drivers because normally you need to attach to someone to have one that you like, one that you don't like.
Right.
But I still like to watch sometimes, and I was saying, yeah, one time I wanted to make it, and yeah, it's completely different. But from Europe, we everybody's beginning to take the US seriously.
Can kind of compare. Obviously, the U.S. is a little bit larger than France, but how does the French karting scene compare to the USA scene here in karting?
I think the number of driver is a bit higher in France, but because there is less competition. I mean, in the US, you have a lot of private championship. From what I understand, you don't have a federation. We can make a real US champion.
Right.
And in France, it's not like this. We have one private championship for Rotax, or it's 3 races, and one French championship. So when you have only 3 big national races, everybody comes, and it's always sold out. You have almost 100 drivers in each category. So that make it a bigger race for the France. Now in the US, I don't know everything about it, but it's just like you feel there is race everywhere with every private organization. And of what I see, SKUSA is still the number one of it, but you can get lost sometimes.
It does seem that way, and it seems like even Canada has kind of the one organization that kind of oversees stuff, and that's something that obviously is a big difference. Can you guesstimate how many racetracks or karting tracks there are in France? I haven't really done the research on that, but how many do you think that you've actually raced at?
To race, I don't know. I know that there is 300 track in France.
Oh, wow.
There is 7 track who are homologated CIK FIA.
Okay.
But I think in general, in all my career, I drive to 25 or 30.
Yeah. We see a lot of European drivers coming over to the U.S., not only in karting, but other forms of motorsports. Do you feel that's going to be a continuing development? Because you look at the IndyCar fields, you look at the IMSA fields, a lot of Europeans are starting to make their way over here to America. Do you think that's going to continue to be that way? Kind of like your similar path where we're going to start seeing maybe more karting drivers coming over this way too?
I think yes, because the US is making racing a good show compared to the Europe, or it's not growing anymore. It's the same people, the same things. There's not a lot of new things compared to the US. Also, one thing really important for the driver is in almost all competition I make, you have some cash prize. And I think in a sport who cost so much, it's important to get something at the end. Now if you are world champion in the KZ category, so the biggest cars, you are invited to make a good ceremony. You get a trophy, and then you can go home and try to win next year.
Yeah.
So this is not fair.
We pause this show for a quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Grassroots racing in North America is all about being affordable, fair, competitive, and family-friendly. That's the atmosphere you can expect with Cup Karts North America. The organization was founded on those principles in 2014, based in the Midwest. The program grew in popularity and eventually established the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals. The 10th edition of this massive event is scheduled for October 8th to the 11th at the Newcastle Motorsports Park. Cup Karts North America has expanded to 4 divisions, including the flagship North Division. CKNA South is based in the Southeast, while CKNA East is geared at the Northeast region of the United States. CKNA Canada brings together racers from Ontario, Quebec, and other provinces all across the Great White North. 4 other major events are hosted each year, including the CKNA WinterNationals and CKNA Spring Nationals. The inaugural CKNA Canadian 4-Cycle Nationals were held in Quebec this year in May, with massive participation. Lastly, the CKNA Summer Nationals returns July 31st to August 2nd at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Ohio. Visit cupkarts.com for more about all the divisions, major events, and the CKNA Grand Nationals 10. Be part of something special. Be part of the Cup Karts North America family. In Colorado, the place to go for karts and parts and everything else you need to go racing is Forward Direction Motorsports. It's Colorado's premier karting company. Owned and operated by veteran karter Greg Welch, Forward Direction Motorsports is located in Centennial, Colorado. FDM has been developed to provide customer service and product sales at all levels and in both in-person and online. We're a brick and mortar shop that serves as the hub for karting in Colorado, and we're a gateway to new racers who can come in and learn about the sport. We also have an online store and can ship all over the country. We can also service all makes and models of engines and karts. Whatever you race, we can take care of you. Forward Direction Motorsports is a comp kart dealer, an authorized Rotax service center, and we can fully support all Briggs 206 racers. We support local karting 100%, and we also have a race team that takes our customers to major regional and national events on the West Coast. From kart prep and coaching to full arrive and drive packages, we offer something for everyone. You don't have to live in Colorado to experience Full Direction Motorsports' vast experience or dedication to customer service. Our online store continues to expand its inventory, and the products you need are just a mouse click away. Head to fdmkarting.com the next time you need parts and equipment fast. We ship daily. Shop online or come to the store to check out our inventory and visit our service department. Head to fdmkarting.com to learn more about our products and services, or call us direct at 720-323-3650. A new way to compete in fast, reliable, and affordable racing is taking over the globe. The Tillotson Racing T4 concept is building momentum around the world, and it's expanding in the United States under the T4 Series USA operation. The T4 Series kart package is a spec class program featuring the spec Tillotson chassis, Tillotson engine, and spec Maxxis T4 tires that move the emphasis away from budget and onto driver. The T4 Series USA is working with kart tracks across the country, including the home-based T4 Kartplex, Orlando Kart Center, Music City Kartplex, and Lorain, Ohio Kartplex. The Texas Sprint Racing Series has signed on to offer the T4 Senior category this season, along with the T4 SoCal program that's already established. The T4 Series Eastern Cup is a 3-race program traveling to Tennessee, Ohio, and Florida this year, while the Florida Karting League Championship is set to host T4 categories in 2026. The new T4 America's Cup is a cooperation with T4 Series Mexico, and the program will feature a 2-race championship format for Tillotson Racing. Throughout the season, Tillotson racers will be competing for a ticket to compete at the coveted T4 Nations Cup, which is set for September 30th to October 4th at the Cartodromo Internacional Lucas Guerrero in Valencia, Spain. To learn more, head to T4SeriesUSA.com. Thank you for listening to the EKN Radio Network. We now join the show already in progress.
It's quite weird to see that, and we've heard that from a lot of shifter drivers as well, because it seems like that is the elite level. We have a lot of kids now essentially racing the single speed kind of thing. Do you feel the KZ platform is the premier level in karting right now?
I think it depends of which way you look at it. The KZ1 is really, really hard because it's okay. There is not a lot of driver, but it's a factory battle because of the rules. You can work with and drive with some different chassis with different homologation. So it's really a development driving style. So it's not the same. And then when you have to develop everything and to go on the race with some new things, some new parts, but you have to stay 100% to feel good with the chassis, it's not really easy. And this is the part that the people don't see. And I think for sure KZ1 is the level is a bit higher because you have less driver for sure, but the 25 first driver can win the race if they have the good package at the right time. In KZ2, there is it's not about the speed because sometimes the KZ2 are faster than KZ1 and the level is so high also. But I would say there is maybe less mistakes in KZ1. That's why the racing is more tough.
Do you feel the level of racing here in the US is kind of increasing and not almost to par with what we see in Europe? Or do you think we still have a little bit of ways to go here in the US to be at par with the international scene?
Same, it depends on the point because me, for my son, when I arrive in the US, I never say that I will come and win because the US is so easy. But it's so different, the tracks compared to Europe for me. The tires are not the same, even if the tires is the tire you have to just to get used to. But the way to drive is really different, and that makes this difficult to adapt. And I think to go to one way to another is not easy.
Okay.
But the only thing, or will I say Europe is still a bit more difficult, is like I say, the 25 first driver can win the race. And in the US, I don't feel this a lot. I messed up some practice sessions, some things, and you are three in the front. So that's the only thing now for the US, I think, that can go up a bit.
Is there a favorite racetrack that you've raced here in the US, or is there a track that you've raced here that kind of compares to something that you've raced in Europe?
Me, the best one I like is Newcastle. It's even one I like the most even in the world because it's a really long track, really nice, with a good speed. Just one way I feel is better than the other, but at the end, yeah, it's a really good track.
Is there one you don't like that you've raced at so far?
I make both. I make one way in the Stars and one way in the SKUSA.
Okay, but is there a different race? Is there a racetrack that you don't like here so far that you've driven on?
In the US?
Yeah.
Cincinnati, I really don't like.
Okay, so the one we're coming up to.
Yeah.
Is it just because it's super tight? You like the big flowing racetracks? Is there anything that compares to it in Europe?
Honestly, if not from the CIK Fire track. Okay, it's a bit narrow, but this for me is not a big problem. It's just I feel it's so much bumpy that you can't carry the speed, and especially in shifter, it's really heavy to drive, and you just feel that you don't go fast. You just try to manage your chassis to not jump and pass the corner correctly. And it's not like they're complaining the same in Formula One that you don't push to the limit. And I feel on this track you cannot, because if you are on the limit on a bad jump, you lose everything. So you're just carrying everything to make it less mistake, and I don't like this way.
it's kind of like the temporary circuits that you did in November, both Rock Vegas and Supernats. Do you feel like those are kind of the same thing, same mentality where you can't give it 100% because if you do, you might end up in the wall? Do you feel that was kind of similar to that?
Honestly, I was thinking a bit this about Vegas because that was the first time for me this year. And honestly, no. After I drive in shifter, so you are not really close to the wall because you make tight line.
Okay.
You just feel that if there is a problem with someone or just the wheel touching, you are on the limit to crash. But I think it's more complicated for single speed.
Did you feel comfortable racing on the temporary circuits? Did it take a while to get used to seeing the walls like that, or was it something that you jumped in and you felt very comfortable right away?
No, honestly, I was feeling good, especially the Supernats was really fast since the beginning. I think I make the fastest lap in the first session, so I was really feeling good because I was really thinking to have a temporary track like this would be really small and narrow, but the end is more large than Cincinnati for me. And,
right. Okay.
So I was really happy about this.
What about the Rock Vegas layout? Did you feel that was a little bit tighter or not as quite widespread? But it seemed like it was pretty easy with the basically 90-degree corners here and there, not very complicated.
Yeah, it was not so much complicated. Just was a bit more bumpy, this parking lot compared to the Supernats. But honestly, it was two different tracks, but the two were really good. I just feel that the one of the Rock, you cannot make so much overtake.
So tell us kind of what it's like racing with Velocity, kind of what's the atmosphere there. Tell us how you feel like the team has kind of progressed since you came here last year.
I just feel like the pace was already there before I come, but they just have to show concretely with a good result, with some publicity, and that's what they make. The job they make is really, really great. In all category. I remember when there was in the mini with the Lennox Sodikart, they were always really fast, winning some race. Also, all the beginners are always fast, even if they're still learning. And in the single speed chassis, they are working a lot, and the result begins to arrive even then now they make their own engine, so it's also a new part and it's going well. And for the shifter side, I don't watch before a lot what they make, but I think it was maybe the first time that they had really someone like me to make all the year and was really focused 100% to only this, and I think that's pay off compared to what they did before, and I hope because. I will not speak about this because about me, but that helped them and make a good publicity.
So then they brought on Mateus Morgado at the end of last year and going into 2026. Talk about working with him over the last couple of weekends. Obviously a world champion on the single speed side of things. Talk about kind of the dynamic you guys have had over the short time you've been together.
Yeah, he's a really good guy and really fast guy. He showed it in the past, like you say, he was world champion and still really good even in shifter. I saw that he finished second in the KZ2 European Championship, so he has nothing to prove. One of the best in the world, and I'm happy to drive next to him. I think we help each other to get faster, and we are working really good together in the team. We share all the information, and we help also all the drivers who drive in shifter with us.
Yep.
So that make a good experience, and it's good for everybody. When you have two drivers competing at the top to get the data, the video, etc. for all the driver with us is good. And I think I have a bit more experience than him, so especially with the Sodi. So it's really good this part for him because I can prevent him from something that we used to. And for me, from my driving side, he's still really fast, so I saw sometimes that he can make things. And it's good to have someone to compare and to see if he make like this, I can make it, and it will be better.
Yeah, so you're bringing in your experience. He's bringing in a different viewpoint. It seems to be working out really well, especially finishing 1-2 in Tucson there. Your position, technical commercial racing position with Sodikart, kind of describe what that position means and what you're doing with Sodikart.
So Sodi now wants to develop the racing side. As you know, we have a big rental part in the Sodi, who is the main things. But as the new strategy, we want to develop the racing side, and for this you need people. So they hire me to this job, and I'm here to help all the importers, the distributors, and the dealers for all the world about technical things, and try to find some new one to be Sodi dealers and to promote Sodi at the top of the world.
Does that include you racing in different countries, not just the US, but going to maybe other different areas in the world and racing there, or that is that more business side of things for that job?
My job is not on the driving. I keep the both because I still am at the age to drive, and I will not make this in 10 years. So it's a new job also for Sodi. So we just go slowly on the both things. Me, I continue to drive, and then they see me as my business side on Sodi. So the driving is just a plus for me on the business side. But if Sodi has an opportunity with some dealer in one country and they want to have a driver exceptionally for one race, it's something that we can speak about it.
Is there a country or racetrack around the world that you haven't been to that you want to go to?
I've never been to Australia.
Okay. So maybe doing the Gold Coast or karting Australian championships down there?
Yeah. We've been in contact with them, and we speak about it if we can do something, because it's still really far, so we need to adapt with the budget and everything.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Europeans go down there, some Americans. We've seen a lot of Australians come and race at the Super Nationals as well too. So it's a different scene down there. Have you kind of follow it as they've been going along? It's a unique, because their summer is different from here and so on. So it's quite a unique community down there. Do you agree?
In the US?
In Australia?
I honestly, I don't know. I've never been, but I saw that there is I was thinking even before to know the US that the Australia was something growing a lot. But honestly, I've never been there, so yeah, I can't tell you.
Okay. So with that, let's end with one final question. What is the future for Adrien Renaudin? Do you feel 5 years from now, this is where you're going to be as a employee with Sodikart and helping to build the brand further and further? How long do you see yourself driving at this competitive level? Do you think it's 2 years, maybe just as the last year? What do you think is going to happen?
I would say for my life, one of my dreams is to have a track, to make some racing if I can, if the track is bigger enough. But for the driving side, I think I will not drive 5 years anymore. So I think it's between 1 and 2 years.
Okay.
I don't know. I will see all the possibility, but I really want to maintain my position at Sodi, and I think with this will be the main point. And then from this, we will for sure speak together to see if there is still a possibility for me to drive. But sure, it will be not more than what I make this year.
Do you have track ideas and track designs already in your head, as if you wanted to go like build from the ground up? Is that what you're thinking, or taking over a racetrack and kind of managing that?
If I have all the possibility with all the money in the world, I will create everything from A to Z. I know exactly what to make to make a good business and something good to drive, but I need to be reasonable, and this costs a lot of money. So the best option would be to buy something, I think.
So would the layout look like Newcastle?
I hope, but you need to have a big park to make this.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Adrien, for joining us here on the hot seat, and we appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the 2026 season.
Yeah, thank you so much.